Yo, what's good? This is Left Side of the Brain. This is video number 2, out here in nature. Like I promised, I'm going to do a couple videos while I'm out here today. What I want to talk about now is this topic I've been thinking about. And this is what it is. Why does God not show his face? And this is basically a video about the concept of God himself and why it seems like he is hidden. And, you know, God is like a myth to some. He is a reality to others. But I just want to go into why I feel that God is the way that it is. Now, this is what I believe. I believe that, and you've probably heard this before, that everything around us is the body of God. The trees, the air we breathe, everything. Okay? So having said that, God, wow, that's a big dog. It's this big Rottweiler, y'all. And this lady got on a leash, and I'm not trying to make too much noise. So give me a second. Y'all look, y'all see it? Look. That dog big. Hold up. Let me let them pass. Jesus, that's a big dog. Anyway, yeah. Speaking about God, see, the reason why God doesn't show himself how you would want him to show himself, and the reason why he doesn't speak how you want him to speak, is because the language of God and the face of God is the face of pretty much. Hold up. Damn, that's a big dog. Yeah. The face of God and the voice of God is pretty much everything that's around us. It's in the billboard signs. It's in every little intricate thing. Every little intricate detail is communicating to you. I mean, it's been plenty of times I've been driving down the street and I'm thinking about something, and then I look up at a billboard and the answer to what I was thinking about is on the billboard sign. That has happened to me plenty of times. I might just be walking around and somebody might be having a random conversation and they may say something that is the answer to what I was just thinking about. So it's like, it's not random, but it's a synchronicity. Okay? God communicates in the form of synchronicities, things which just fall in sync, and it'll just snap. It'll just snap inside of you, like, yeah, it'll just connect. That's how God communicates. Okay, God in nature is explained through the parables of nature itself. Like like things, all things work together, you know. Let me give you an example. Like life itself, you can compare it to like the clouds. You know how they say, uh, I'm stopping because it's now people wanting to come down this part of the trail, and all of a sudden, another dog and two more people. But that's all good. Now, it's kind of like it's kind of like life itself. You can compare it to the days. Like when you look up in the sky, every day is not going to be sunny, just like your life. And then sometimes the clouds will come and the skies are gray, just like life itself, because everything is showing you yourself, because everything around us is like a compare and contrast of our life that we live. Like we see death everywhere. You walking around, you see dead ants, dead bees in your windowsill, carcasses of dead animals. I mean, death is just as expected in life as birth is. You can't have birth without death. You see, and life is God. See, everything is the Spirit of God. Now, here's another thing. If God revealed his face, if it had a face, guess what? You wouldn't respect him, because he would be right there. He would be right there. And because you can see him, you wouldn't respect him. You wouldn't respect him. You wouldn't believe the words that's coming out of his mouth because you can see him. You wouldn't believe it because you can touch him. So that's why he has to, even if God had a body, let's just say theoretically, let's say if God had a body, he has to stay in the shadows, because if he revealed himself, you would lose respect for him. You would then challenge him, and mystery is what people respect. People respect mystery. They have a fear of what they don't understand. Even in nature, an animal can approach you, right? And at first it steps towards you real gingerly, and then it starts to warm up to you. You see? Because at first you are a mystery. The animal perceives you to be a threat. Initially, that animal perceives you to be a threat. So it approaches you with a cautious step, because inside of him, I gave an example once how babies are selfish when they are born, because selfishness correlates with self-preservation. So the first instinct a person has is self-preservation. When a person first enters the room, they have a thing where they want to preserve themselves. They don't want to tell everything about themselves. They secretive. When you first meet a girl, or a man, you a woman, you first meet a man, you try to be real secretive, because you are practicing the first law of nature, which is self-preservation. Okay? So God is the same way. Being that we have the Spirit of God inside of us, some of us, we practice self-preservation just like he practices self-preservation, because he is preserving his mystery in order for you to respect him. You see, if we knew everything about nature, even scientists, if they knew everything about nature, they would have been just destroyed this world. But because they respect it and they don't know everything about it, they move cautiously through everything, because it's so much in this world to be discovered that they go about it gingerly. Like when they doing like oceanographers, when they going deep into the fathoms of the ocean, they real cautious. It might, because at the bottom of the ocean, it's like they have valleys and low depths of the ocean. Then you can walk on a level ground and you'll be in 5 feet. Take a step and you'll plunge 5,000 feet. So every turn, every nook, every cranny, they have to proceed with caution. It's the same way with God. I mean, it's the same way with God. Like if we knew everything, we wouldn't respect his authority. Just like if we knew everything about this earth, we wouldn't respect it. You see, that's why scientists, when they digging, they just don't want to dig anywhere, because they know that they may hit a fault line, which could cause a major earthquake. You see, but if they had the total knowledge of everything, they would just just be even more devilish than they are now. You see? And that's why the devil is uh submissive to God in the first place, because he don't know all of the power of God. So it's certain things that he can do, and it's certain things that he will not do, because he respects God, because the mystery of God. It's almost like, you know how you have children and you say to them that, you know how you don't play with your kids, or don't, come down to their level, because guess why? Because when you come down to their level, they're gonna lose respect for you. It's just like a sensei in karate. If he's hanging out, going to parties with the students, and acting just like them, they're gonna lose respect for him. You see, it's not a thing of putting yourself like you better than somebody. It's a thing of preserving yourself in order to preserve your respect. Because once you lose that mystery, people lose all respect for you. Just like North Korea, they got this thing going right now with the United States. That's why they have Secret Service agents, because life itself is based upon fear. That's why they say you got to have a fear of God. That fear is based in the mystery of who he is. Just like the United States and North Korea, right? Uh, North Korea is not going to make a sudden move, because it's like chess. You don't know what's in the next man's mind. It's like if you at a chess, at a chessboard playing another chess master, you respecting him, right? Because you don't know what his next move is. So it's the same way with North Korea and the United States. They don't know all of our arsenal, and we don't know all of their arsenal. So what it creates is a certain amount of reverence and respect for each other. And this is why I say, this is why God sits back and he doesn't reveal himself like we would want him to. Because that's one of the oldest questions in the world. If God is real, where is he? Why don't he where is he? You know, we read these stories and these religious books, but where is God? But guess what? He will show up to you in bits and pieces. He will show up to you personally. He will show up to you. And he has shown himself to me. And I'm pretty sure he has shown himself to some of you. But he does it in his way of doing it. You can't force him to show up. He's going to show up, and he fulfills every promise. But he does it in his time. And his time is always the right time. You see, time is pretty much impatience. Impatience and expectation. If something happens when we want it to happen, it's expectation. When it doesn't happen when we want it to happen, then we get impatient. But God is above time, so he doesn't get impatient. Okay? We just have to learn how to be at peace with ourselves. And all of this is tying in. If you've been following these videos, all of this stuff is tying in. We have to be at peace with ourselves. And part of that peace is learning solitude. It's like living out the meditation. Meditation doesn't mean you just have to be sitting in a lotus position somewhere. That's a part of meditation. But meditation is contemplating on the aspects of life, like what I'm doing right now, talking about it, living it out, exercising it. See, this channel is based on organic portals, us versus them, but As you see, I go into areas to make it make sense. It's not just quoting what an organic portal is and what an organic portal is not. This thing has functionality to it, practicality to it. It's not just, it's pretty much like a religion here on this channel, an unclassified type of religion where we just identify these people and learn how to move and maneuver in and out of this world. You see, this is what I teach on this channel. You see, and this is what God is. He even practices self-preservation. He practices self-preservation. And that's just the nature of the God being, self-preservation. He has to do what he does in order to preserve his respect, his mystery. And when you want to discover who he is, you have to go into that secret place, your astral temple. Your astral temple is behind your eyelids. See, everybody is a walking church building. Everybody is a walking mosque, a walking shrine, whatever you want to call it. That is you. Behind your eyelids, that is your inner sanctuary. That is your temple. That's your hidden place. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. You want to know where the God's sanctuary is? It's right here. I ain't gonna say nothing. Just look around. If you really want to go into a sanctuary, and guess what? They even call it that. Do they not call it that? They call it that. They call it a nature, a sanctuary. Do they not call it that where the animals be? They call it a sanctuary. Why you think they say that? I'll just let you think about that. As I pan around, just think about that. This is the sanctuary. This is the sanctuary. All around you. When you out in nature, get out of the city sometimes. Get out of the hustle and bustle. Come into the woods, into God's natural sanctuary. That's what you got to do. And something else I was about to say, and I'm about to end this video. Time, I just want to touch on this for a second. I was thinking about it. You know, time don't exist. Time is just a, somebody has sent me a text last night. This girl has sent me a text. And she says something about time will tell. And I replied back, I said, time won't tell. I said, we would tell. I didn't go too deep with it because she was like one of them type people. But I did it in a jokingly way, and I was like, time won't tell anything. We will tell. You see, time doesn't have a mind. You look at that clock on your wall, it don't have no mind. Time is connected to us through expectation and impatience. Expectation and impatience. That's what time is made of. Time itself does not exist. Time doesn't exist without us, the beings, who are at this moment, we are regulated by time. So really, when you think about it, time is a constraint, right? And God is not under that constraint. He's not under that constraint. I'm going to touch on this more in the next video I do. This is just the second video I'm doing for today. But I'm about to do a random video. I just want to talk about a lot of stuff and cover some questions that people were asking in the comment section. So this is Left Side of the Brain. I'm signing out. Peace.